This year we were at the Memphis Film Festival, the Savannah Film Festival, the Toronto Film Festival, the San Sebastian Film Festival. My favorite part of the festival is usually seeing the city. And so we drove around with some friends yesterday and somebody who's from Glasgow, and got to take a little tour of the city and, you know, see where the neighborhoods are. And I hadn't been here for years, so to see what things are changing and what things are still the same. Our movie's going to be opening in the UK, Honey Dripper, in May. And Glasgow is an important audience for us. And since the festival was happening here at this time and we were available, it seemed like a really good time to come and do some publicity, get the buzz going about the movie. You know, we had 2 screenings of it. And also just because I like coming back to Glasgow.
The story came from a short story by an English writer called Sarah Maitland, who actually lives now up in Scotland, up north on an island. Cold weather is really demanding, you know, just to keep your body together and to keep thinking. It was -40 on certain days. The island, which is where the 2 women live in the end, and where they find Xiaomin's character, is part of Norwegian territory, but it's like 2 hours south of the North Pole. It's the northernmost settlement in the world, really. The whole crew, when we were shooting the majority of the film, were living on a Russian ship. We were on an icebreaker. So there were no hotels, there were no transport, there were no cars, you know, everything had to be carried by hand. And there were polar bears in the region, so we had people with guns that had to run around protecting us in case a hungry polar bear came along.
Eddie was definitely a journalist, and I think that's where his most powerful stuff comes from. It comes from the wars, it comes from Vietnam, it comes from Israel, it comes from Palestine, and all the wars that he shot after that. Obviously he kept going back to it, but at the same time, he was a photographer.
One of the great influences that he had would be Joe Rosenthal. Joe Rosenthal was the man who took the raising of the flag that Clint Eastwood made, Flags of Our Fathers.
It's a famous photograph, you know, and there's been pieces on it before, but they never show the footage in its entirety, really. They usually, you know, they'll show up to the point of the execution, or they'll show the execution and then they'll cut away to the photograph the moment it happens. But we decided not to do that just because we were doing, rather than doing a documentary essentially about the photographer, we were doing it about the photographer.